Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Pre-2019 Psychosis. This is a Discord series event, and it is 2019, earlier than 2019 cars only. As you can see from the timetable on the left-hand side, it is a grid full of Lexuses, really. We've got a couple cars on there, such as the Bentley and Mercedes, but majority of drivers are in the Nissan tonight. So 45-minute race around the Red Bull Ring. Hopefully we're going to have quite a lot of action. Only got 19 cars on the grid tonight, so it's a little less than we've had previously. But nonetheless, it's enough to warrant a stream, and that is why we are here. So we're in the qualifying session at the moment, and drivers are starting to put in their lap times. We're looking around the mid 128s, maybe the low 28s. I think maybe some drivers are in the high 27s as well, so there's a lot of lap time out there for them to get. The fastest lap time at the moment, as you've just seen from Lillington, is a 128.7, so we are expecting this to come down. I see a lot of drivers at the moment who are about 2-3 tenths up on their lap. Matt Redfern is currently 5 tenths up on his lap time in the Lexus, so we'll be seeing an improvement there for sure. A lot of fast drivers down with us tonight as well, as I think it's Ben Brown that just goes fastest with a 128.6. He's also in the Lexus tonight. Yeah, we were originally planning on running this race last week, but due to the ACC servers being down, we've postponed it to this week. And I think during that time, most people have decided to switch to the Nissan, which is why there is so many on the grid this evening. I mean, we do have some other cars, to be fair. Obviously, Noah Ackerman is the only man with a bit of colour to the badge. He's got a Ferrari with Team Rocket Racing. Obviously, this is the it's not even the Evo version of the 458 Ferrari, so it's definitely one of the slowest of the Ferraris. But nonetheless, he is trying it out for this evening, despite it being one of the worst cars on the grid. Who else we've got down the grid? So John Gray has just set the fastest lap of the race, and that is with a 128.6 as well, only just slightly faster than Ben Brown, who also is about to set the fastest lap. To be fair, he's about 2 tenths up on his lap time. If anyone's in the chat, can you just let me know if the quality is okay, if there's any audio issues or anything like that, and I'll try and get it sorted. So Ben's about to come across the line now, and he sets a 128.4. So as I predicted, he's going to set the fastest time momentarily. I do think, to be honest, we'll have quite a lot of contest up at the front of the grid this evening. You can see from the leaderboard on the left-hand side, the top 7 or so drivers, top 8 or so drivers actually, are within 6 tenths of each other. So there's definitely going to be some competition there. But at the moment, it is Lexus leads Nissan. Which is interesting to say the least. I know that these drivers, Ben Brown, John Gray, they're very, very fast. Obviously, the Lexus isn't usually their normal car, I would assume, but the drivers have the skills to put them at the top of the grid, no matter what they're in. USB is with us tonight in the Nissan. This man is currently leading the Discord Series Championship. A little bit more information about that. It's a 3-month-long championship, so drivers have a lot of time to get dug into it. We're currently about halfway through this championship, and Eusebi has built up about 1,900 points total. We had a 6-hour race this weekend where he did it solo, so that's where all those points come from. But if you do fancy joining us for this, we are, like I said, halfway through. You can get yourself on the leaderboard quite easily just from attending races. You don't have to be fast. There's a link to the Discord in the chat right now. If you are watching, join us for that, feel free. Stuart Pryor is currently the driver with the most laps in ACM. He's also in the Nissan tonight. It's quite a nice livery on that Nissan, to be honest. I think our deputy manager will be quite happy with this livery, since it's got some Monster Energy logos on it, but that's a story for another day. He's currently on a 128.7, and he's not improving on this lap time, but I do believe he will go slightly faster than this. He's definitely got it in him, and he is, of course, in the Nissan, so there's a lot of potential in there as well. Krasnov is currently qualifying behind him at the moment. He's 2 tenths up on his current lap, and that'll put him at 28.6. That's enough for him to place about 3rd or 4th position, so long as he keeps it tidy throughout these final couple corners, it's going to be moving up a place at least. But Krasnov, another driver that joins us very regularly, very clean. He's got his own team as well, SC Racing. You can see that team name at the bottom right. So he comes across the line and, like I said, places third place, 2.8 tenths behind Ben Brown, who's up front. I don't think Ben's currently on a fastest lap. Yeah, he's currently on a slow lap, just letting some other drivers through. But he's sat comfortably in first position at the moment with a 128.3. We've got 5 minutes left of qualifying. A couple of drivers who are sat in the pit lane at the moment. We've got Darkness and Pryor in the pit lane. But to be honest, I don't predict too much of a change to the leaderboard. I know that John Gray can definitely go faster, as I believe he's just moved up a place to reclaim the P3 spots. But I definitely think he's got at least 2 more tenths in him. So if he can get himself into sort of second place, it could be a very interesting battle between the two Lexuses of Ben Brown and John Gray at the front. Further down the grid then, Matt Redfern, who we covered earlier in the Big Brain Racing Lexus. He's currently on a 128.9, so he's the 8th driver to be in the 128s. I do believe Matt's also got some more time in him. Obviously, he's a teammate to John Gray, who's also in the Lexus, so I'm sure there'll be some sort of communication between these two tonight. Jay Wolf, who we saw this weekend at the Kailami races, is racing in the Nissan. Usually races in the Aston, so slightly different car to what he's used to. Very fast driver though, and we saw him taking some pretty cool photos a couple of weeks back, so I'm hoping for some more after this race. But yeah, he's currently sat in 8th place with a 128.9. I'll see if he improves there. Ryan Blanchette, they were originally in the Ferrari last week, but it seems like they've switched to the Nissan this week, along with everyone else. No issues though, they're currently about a 10th up on their lap, almost 2 tenths there in that final corner. That'll put up at about a 128.9. So they might move up into 8th place. Yep, they just do that now. But it is very close between these sort of top 10 drivers. There's 9 tenths, and I mean John Gray and Ben Brown are increasing their times lap by lap. I think John Gray's just gone into 2nd place now as well with a 128.4. So it is definitely going to be a close battle up at the front, and it is going to be one to watch for sure. Noah Ackerman, we were on with him earlier in the Ferrari. He's currently on a 129.6. I know for sure that he's got a lot more lap time in there, so it'd be interesting to keep our eye on that. He's currently on par with his Delta time, so there's no improvements to be made as of yet. Just watching the time fluctuate at the moment. He's gone back to being on par with his time, so maybe not enough time in there to gain in these last couple of minutes, but we'll see. We'll keep our eye on it. The single driver who's gone with the Aston V12 tonight is Bartosz Gemiel. He's usually in a Porsche, so obviously the V12 is quite a bit different to the Porsche, but it is a very nice sounding car nonetheless. We'll go on board with it now actually as he heads up first straight. So he's currently on a 130 flat. Do you think he can go a lot lower? I know in practice he was sort of running 130s, 131, so he's currently beating his PB by quite a lot. And he needs about 5 tenths in his current lap time if he wants to move up at least 1 position. So he's got quite a lot of ground to cover, but he's sat in a good place at the moment in P12. Sorry, I was dealing with a question. So in P13, another Nissan driver is Bronislaw Lis, who's currently on a 130.7. They're not improving this lap. I believe it's a not a fast lap, so we'll see any improvement here, I don't think. But they're currently on 130.7, so definitely some more there. Are you in now, Eric? Are you all good with the admin stuff? Let me know in the chat if you are. Still here. Alexander Kay, another driver in the Lexus. That is the 4th and final driver in the Lexus this evening. They're currently on a 131.1, so obviously we know there's a lot of lap time that they can gain in this. As they return to the pit line, I think that's probably their qualifying over. So Who else we got in the pit lane? Blanchett, Krasnov, and John are all in the pit lane as well, so they finished their qualifying. You should be able to do the command now, unless it's not working for any particular reason. I'm not. If you just put it in the chat, it should work. We'll cut back to the action. So Ben Brown is still currently out. He's not improving on his lap time. It worked. Cool. That's good to know. A quick one that I forgot to mention to you as well. There is no 10-second time penalty command. So if it's TP5 and it's 10 seconds, you just do 2 of them. But yeah, Ben Brown not improving on his lap time. He's on the final corner now. Still no improvement to that lap time, so I'm thinking it's going to be a finish with a 1:28.3. And as we say that, Lily Lillington just goes a 1:28.375, which is 18 hundredths behind Ben up front, which is pretty mental. Probably going to be quite angry about the fact that she didn't top Ben Brown there, but I think actually it looks like they've got another lap in there, so could be quite lucky on this one if they're able to gain just a little bit more time on their lap. Ben Brown is in the pit lane now though, so that is his qualifying over. Provisional P1, but he's got Lily and John hunting down during the race. Eusebi is also looking to finish his lap. Currently about 1/10 up on the lap time. I don't know if they'll be able to keep that until the end. Obviously another driver in the Nissan, so they've got slightly OP compared to others. Matt Redfern is also out on his final lap now. He's about 3/10 up, so if he gets that lap time, that'll put him up in about 4th or 5th place. So he needs to keep it tidy through these final couple corners. Really, we'll keep on with him and see what he does. It's nice and tidy around the first corner, and then we're on to the final corner now. Keeps it tidy. He's kept his time. He's 2/10 up. It's dropping slightly. It's going to place him in about 8th. 6th is quite good, and he's about a 10th behind Eusebi, so definitely going to be some very close battle in this race. Test disqualification. Yeah, if in doubt, disqualify yourself. It's a good test. But yeah, that is the qualifying over. So we've got everyone done with that now. Press drive, unfortunately, it's annoying. But we have got everyone lined up on the grid now. I was going to go through the qualifying order again, but due to us being in this angle, I probably won't. Practice does disqualify John. John won't be happy with that one for sure. I think that's a slight bit of an abuse of power, but yeah, cool. So got a 1.5 minute wait until the lights, well, the formation lap begins, and we'll see the drivers making their way around the lap. It is a full formation lap this evening, so we'll sort of go through the grid while they're doing that. So as I said, this is a 45-minute race, and there is no mandatory pit stops or anything, so it's just flat out fun really. It is Lexus leads Nissan leads Lexus, and there's a Lexus in P6 as well, so it's not entirely Nissans, but it is very Nissan dominated for sure. Ackerman finished in P11 in the end in that Ferrari, and we had Gemiol finish in P12 in the Aston, so not really any major change towards the mid-pack of the grid, but everyone else
30 seconds.
Is not doing too bad. Right, so drivers are now ready to go off on their formation laps. Let me just get a good camera angle to watch them all pull away. It's quite interesting seeing this grid, to be honest. You don't usually see the older cars a lot. The Lexus has come back in recent times with the Nordschleife release. It was quite popular, but they did nerf it in the end, so it sort of slid back into irrelevancy. But obviously, with the cars being restricted to pre-2019 tonight, we've got a lot of drivers. Well, we've got everyone really using these cars. One that we didn't cover during qualifying was Raptor and P16. They're in the Mercedes, that's the first gen Mercedes, so obviously not as fast as the second one, but again, everyone is in the same pool tonight. That Nissan on the front row, and that Aston Martin there, to be fair, are getting all slidey as they emerge from the pit box. We've got Bentley at the back as well, that's Matt Howes in the Bentley, rounding out the entire grid. We'll jump back on board with the leaders. So, like I said, 45 minutes of racing is about to get underway. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat for this, hopefully. I think a lot of the drivers in sort of the top 7 or so are going to be having some battles, providing they keep it clean, of course. We do have live stewards tonight, so they'll be covering all the incidents. Hopefully we'll see some penalties, well, hopefully not, but if there is any incidents, we'll see some penalties coming through. It doesn't look like there was anything major that happened during qualifying, which is good. It's always good to see, but obviously in the race, that's going to be slightly different. Quite a nice livery on this Lexus, to be fair. It's a good mix of purple. It's a very good purple colour, actually. I'm a fan of it. I'm seeing some SimGrid and some Coach Dave Academy logos on there as well, so I'm a fan. I think it could do with an ACM logo or two as well, though, to be fair. If you are watching this back, you know, nothing's stopping you. Unless there's a team contract or anything, but... Move. The only few drivers with a custom livery on grid tonight are the Lexuses. Obviously we've got the Big Brain Racing guys who have got the livery on there. That's quite a nice one as well, orange to black. And then Pryor, which I don't know if is... I think that might be an in-game one, that one. Looks like something that would be in-game. If not, it's a very, very well made livery. I do like it. I'm just not sure the sponsors are a custom, but it's a good livery nonetheless. A lot of drivers have gone for the sort of in-game custom-made ones, so it's good to see some variety in there. The drivers are in double file now, as we're rounding the final 2 corners. Looks like they're all sort of catching up to where they should be. I'm going to try and get a decent angle for the start of this. I'll maybe go on board of the guy in P1. I might go into Helicam, and I'll just try and catch what I can. So, Lily Lillington and John Gray are going to be down the neck of Ben Brown for these first couple of laps. If Ben Brown is able to pull it away on the first corner, it's going to benefit him a lot in the long run. But John Gray and Lillington are not going to give this away easily. So wait for green light now. It is going to be green at the Red Bull Ring. That was a very long pause there. I think I slightly misunderstood where it turned green, but into the first corner, Ben Brown is certainly ahead. We've got Lily up the inside, but it looks like that's going to be covered off. John Gray goes around the outside of Lillington there, but gets pushed off slightly wide on the first corner. He's going to file in behind Lily in the Lexus. And it looks like Ben Brown has done exactly what I'd said. He's pulled away and he's got that lead, while John Gray and Lillington behind are going to battle as John dives up the inside for the second corner, and hopefully keeps it clean, leaves enough space on the outside, which is good. Whoever's going to have the run down the straight, though, is going to come out beneficial. If Lily can make that gap exist and then cut it off for the next one, which she's done, that is exactly what she needs. However, it's not what they need to catch Ben Brown. As you can see, Eusebi on the outside there, giving a little bit more pressure to John. And you can see Ben Brown up front pulling away slightly from everyone. He's about 8/10 in front of Lily now. So these guys really need to sort of knuckle down and team up if they don't want him to run away with it. Further down the grid, Kelly's lost out a couple of positions, a bit of damage on the side of that Nissan there, so obviously a bit of contact for the stewards to look at, but nothing too major. They've only lost 3 places, and they're now battling with Ackerman. I'm going to cut back to the front. Wolf is sort of looking at the inside of Pryor there. The 2 Nissans are going to be going into the final couple of corners side by side. It's a lot of space left there, and it looks like Pryor's going to might have the better exit, but he goes slightly wide, and it looks like Wolf's going to be on the inside again. Pryor goes wide again. Hopefully no track cuts there. It's going to be side by side continuously towards the first corner. Pryor edges slightly ahead there. You can see Matt Redfern looking to gain what he can from this as well on the outside, and then the Nissan behind of, I believe that's Blanchette, also looking to get in on the action. But as we go into the second lap, Ben Brown is still in front, and of this battle, Pryor is also still in front. So quite a big gap building up in front of Pryor, to be honest. There's about 1.6 seconds, 1.7 seconds between him and Krasnov now. So with this battling that's been going on behind, they've lost a lot to the leaders, which is what we saw in the first lap, as they're side by side again now. So if they keep it like this, Wolf is going to have the inside for the next corner. Going to be a battle of who's latest on the brakes, as Pryor kicks up a little bit of dirt there, goes around the outside. Oh, that was close, and he gets a little unsteady on the corner exit, and he's given Redfern the place as well as Wolf, so it just shows how much of a mistake can change what's happening. As it is now, Pryor down in 8th place compared to the guys in front. Up at the front, there is not quite a big battle, but Ben is definitely pulling away now. It's about a second and a bit to Lillington behind, so he's doing exactly what he needs to do, and ignore any battles that's happening around him and just focus on his own race and get in front of the guys behind him. I think it'll be like this for the majority of the race, to be honest. We're on board with Eusebi at the moment, who's sat in 4th place. They're about 0.2 behind John, and there's about half a second between John and Lily as well. So, like I said, it's going to be a battle of who can be the most consistent. Obviously, in these older cars with no mandatory pit stops, you might have issues with the tyres, you might have issues with the fuel. We don't know. It'll all be something to watch during the race as Kelly drops down more places on that first corner. I think he's let through Gemiol and Ackerman there. You can see both of them on the outside of the straight there. That Aston is very fast apparently during the straights, but it looks like they've not got the position settled. They get wide in the exit, go over the yellow curb, and it's going to be side by side into this next corner again. It's going to be a lot of deja vu this evening, as you've got drivers sort of juggling between positions. It's going to be 3 wide into this corner almost, which is not something you want. There's not really enough space there. They've left enough room for each other. Gemiol goes slightly wide, kicks up a bit of the gravel there, and that's giving Altosis the run. Ackerman down the run down into this corner here. Gets slightly out on the back end, but he's kept his position nonetheless. Obviously Kelly behind is looking to gain back what they lost on the start, but no changes there. Back up at the front, John Gray's all over the back of Lily. Going into the final corner is about 0.2 seconds, 0.3 seconds. Maybe a bad exit there as Lily's getting quite a bit ahead. But again, Ben Brown is doing exactly what they need to do. They're getting ahead, and they're not allowing anyone to catch up. So as long as they keep it consistent, it could be an easy race win for Ben. Whereas for Lily and John, it's going to be a constant battle. And it is nice to see, to be fair, the fact that it's 2 different cars. With the grid being entirely dominated by Nissans, as Lily covers the inside very heavily there. John tries the outside of Lily going into the second corner. Up the rear, you can see Eusebi trying to get what he can from this as well. It's going to be a train of cars down into the 3rd corner. It is a Nissan sandwich for John Gracie. He looks to see what's on the inside, doesn't go for the dive bomb. It's very late on the brake zone, has to go slightly wider on the exit, potentially touching the gravel there as well. I don't know if that'll give Eusebi the run down the inside, which it has done. Is John going to try and get that back? He does. Hopefully no contact, leaving enough room for each other. Wow, this is some close racing. The Nissan goes slightly wide on the exit there. I think, to be honest, we'll see a similar sort of situation to before. Lily will sort of get away from them. Yeah, it looks like John's now about a second down from Lily, so going on board, that just shows how much a battle can slow you down. John's kept his 3rd place position, but it does show that Eusebi is out for blood. He's all over the backside of that, and he was looking to gain what he could from this battle. Whether or not John Gray is going to be able to catch up to Lily is another factor. Obviously there's now 1.2 seconds between those, and Eusebi is right on the rear, so John's not only going to have to defend, maybe fall into pressure there a little bit as he goes over the yellow curb, but he's also going to have to keep his 3rd place position and try and catch up to Lily in 2nd. Lily can now focus on maybe catching up to Ben if possible, but there is 2.5 seconds to 2 seconds between those guys, as we see a major dive around the outside from Eusebi. It's not fruitful though, as he slipped back behind John there. All of these drivers that we've got up at the front here, incredible drivers. I've seen such clean racing from them over the time, and they've also got so many laps with us at ACM as well. I think John Gray's nearing up to about 1,000 laps with us now, so He's got a lot behind him. He goes slightly wide there again, and it's going to be a deja vu situation again between these two. But I think John might claim this one due to him being slightly further ahead. There's a little bit of contact there, a little bit of door banging, but nothing too major. It now looks like Krasnov's getting in the action, and is going to be trying to get as much as he can out of this. I don't know where to look, there's so much going on here. Kelly looks like they're up the inside of Jemiel there as they go slightly wide. I think that's the move made by Kelly there, as Jemiel also touches the grass and goes slightly wide on the exit. Further down the grid, Matt Howes is currently gaining positions. Matt Howes is a very fast driver, and we know him to be in the Bentley quite a lot, so it's familiar ground for Matt Howes, and it looks like he missed qualifying, but he is in for the race, so looking to gain as much as he can. As we'll look at the inside there, but it looks like it was covered off by Mercury in front. No rush for Matt House. Obviously he started last, so it's going to be a difficult last to first challenge, but he can gain it. I do believe he's got the pace in him. His Darkness is actually looking up the inside there, very late on the brakes in the Nissan. It looks like actually the move has been made as they go over the yellow curb, the Nissan tanking it, so Matt House has lost a position back down into P17 for him. What we're going to do is cut back up to the front sort of leaders. John Gray is starting to pull away a little bit now. You can see the Lexus up front. There's about 1 second between him and Yuzebi. And then Krasnov, who we're on board with now, is about half a second behind. Wolf is also about half a second behind, followed by Redfern and then Pryor. Obviously we saw Pryor drop back a couple positions after going wide a few laps earlier. They're about 1 second behind Matt Redfern. So nothing much major has changed. John is about 2 seconds back from Lily now. There's quite a lot of distance between them, and then Lily is also 2.5 seconds back from Ben Brown. So if it stays like this, it's going to be a first place and fastest lap of the race to Ben, with Lily and John in their qualifying positions respectively. Speaking of the fastest lap of the race, it's currently Ben Brown with a 1:29.1. Not sure whether that's going to change much this evening. I don't know what the race pace is like with these cars, and obviously the tyres might drop off a little bit earlier than expected as well. So we'll keep our eye on that. But I think Ben with the clean air doesn't really need to focus on getting a good lap time. Matt Howes is still looking to get through Darkness. Obviously we saw the overtake happening last lap. Is in front. I think that's Raptor that. Ooh, and Matt Howes has spun. And I think that's the number 9 car of Raptor as well that has spun, fortunately. So that's Matt Howes back down into about 18th position. He's got Alexander Kerr behind in the 4th Lexus. Yeah, that inside curb will be out to murder you if you're ever nearby. Pro tip: don't run over it. Starting to see some penalties come in now. Then we've got a 5-second penalty for car number 6. That's Mercury. In the Nissan, they've got a 5-second penalty. Not too sure what for, but Darkness has also got a 15-second penalty behind, and there's a lot of damage on that car there. So maybe some first lap issues there. If you're wondering about car number 331, Eric Dreyer, they're doing the Student tonight. They just disqualified themselves as a little test, so don't worry about them. And we'll move back up to the front and try and catch up with the action. It looks like John Gray's lost his lead to Yuzebi, and Yuzebi sort of pulled ahead of Krasnov as well. So there's 0.3 seconds between Yuzebi and John Gray in P3 and P4. I think Darkness actually has had a spin. Yeah, he has, but it looks like he's hopefully got it recovered. You can see the Mercedes going around the outside there. That is the Mercedes of Mercury. I think Darkness just needs to keep it consistent this race, to be honest. He's quite new to sim racing, at least to ACC. I think he's quite new, so he's just getting used to sort of the change in physics. I think Darkness is an F1, or used to be an F1 racer. He does a lot with Phoenix Sim Sport. Good group of guys there. You can see Yuzebi has got the Phoenix name in his name. So you do fancy checking those out, have a look online. So Yuzebi is on the rear of John Gray at the moment. John Gray in the Big Brain Racing, another sort of team league, who is very good at what they do. We're good good relations with Big Brain and Phoenix, hence why I'm putting out the good word. But if you fancy checking them out, then have a look at them online respectively. And if you do, of course, fancy joining us, there is a link to our Discord in the chat, so do join us there. Looks like that gap's starting to sort of spread out now. We're going back on board with Eusebius into the first corner. There is no change particularly. It looks like Krasnov has sort of got himself a little bit of air in front. He does have Wolf behind and Redburn behind that, so you can see the two Nissans in front battling it out. Pryor's also dropped a little bit of the way back. He's now down P8, 2.1 seconds behind the guys in front. I think there's a dive in front from Krasnov, or maybe Krasnov was defending the inside. Either way, no major change for position, but that's given Matt Redfern a little bit of an in this battle. Still no change between Eusebi and Gray, as both drivers are sort of running their laps. John Gray goes wide again, but I don't think Eusebi is close enough to make anything of that. If John can tidy up that corner, maybe brake a little bit earlier, then it'll help his consistency a lot. You can see up front, Ben Brown is gone. He's miles ahead of anyone else in his Lexus. You can see Lily just going around that corner there, about 4 seconds behind now. So Ben's race is pretty much solidified. I was hoping for a little bit of a battle up at the front, but the battles that we had earlier on in the race have sort of minimised the chances of that happening. Down the rest of the grid, big gaps that are starting to appear. Matt Howes is trying to claw back from his spin, and I think everyone else is, you can see from the track map, some very large gaps around. Mercury himself is about 10 seconds or so behind P. Liz in front. I'll try and keep my eye out for any changes. Jay Wolf is currently on the rear of Krasnov again. I don't know if there'll be a move made into the first corner. As Krasnov once again defends the inside. Matt Redfern looks to the outside again, maybe braking a little bit too late compared to the two in front. No change again. Eusebi's right on the rear of John as well. Still no change. He looks at the inside. It will be a viable move. I think John's got a very good corner there. Yeah, that's what he needs to keep consistent at now. You know, taking more of that inside curb and hooking it around the corner. We know John is a very fast driver. He's one of the fastest drivers that we've got in ACM. He's also the most successful with 4 trophies next to his name. So he's not one to shy away from a battle for sure. Same with Wolf. We saw him over the weekend having quite a lot of battles in the Kyalami event we had on Sunday. Whether in the Aston Martin. Change of machinery has made no difference though, as we can see him looking towards the inside, getting slightly wide on the exit there. Might have given Matt a little bit of a way in. Nothing to confirm at the moment though, as actually, sorry, that must have been a glitch on the timing sheet. Looked like Krasnov had got ahead of Eusebi there, but there is no change. You can still see John Gray ahead of Eusebi. If you're watching, say hello in the chat. If you want us to focus on anyone, let me know and I can do so. So these two drivers are getting closer every lap. Wolf is going to be on the outside again. Krasnov defends the inside. I think he'll probably have the better exit here as he leaves space on the outside for Wolf. Wolf is going to sort of fill in behind and try and get the slipstream down into the next corner. Krasnov once again doing the correct thing and covering the inside. Jay Wolf has to take the long way around the outside. It's going to be a battle of who breaks the latest going into the corner. It looks like Krasnov will lock up the front right there, making them go wide. It's going to be a switchback. Krasnov needs to get a good exit. He's a bit wide. I think that could actually be Wolf with the move made. Krasnov very late on the brakes again, squeezing right to the inside of the track there, and he's managed to get the position. To be fair, very close racing between these guys here. So much respect that we're seeing going on as Wolf goes slightly wide there. That's allowed Redfern up the inside, and Pryor's now back in the action as well. You can see as Redfern switches to the inside to look for the next corner. Wolf sort of says, look, I'm here man, don't go for the overtake, but Matt Redfern tries it anyhow, up the inside on the second to last corner. That's in a space of one lap. Wolf has dropped back behind Redfern now, with Pryor looking to gain as much as he can behind. So that just goes to show you what the action is like on this grid tonight. Such an insane battle that we just saw going on. with obviously Wolf pressuring Krasnov and them having their battle leading to Redfern gaining the opportunity there. But it is going to be Wolf on the rear end of Redfern now. It's going to be a bit of deja vu. Hopefully Wolf can gain back his position. Battle of who's going to be latest on the brakes. I know we saw Redfern going very late on that Lexus previously, but it looks like he's done that perfectly. Wolf sort of going very tight to the inside there, and he made the move very well done on the outside. So that's Redfern back into P7 with Pryor immediately behind. Wolf is now going to have to play catch up to Krasnov in front. He's about 1 second down now, so it's going to be a battle between Pryor and Redfern in the meantime. Further behind, the Ferrari who we were on with during qualifying is about 0.5 seconds behind Blanchette. So we'll be having a look at their battle throughout this race. I think Mark Maz actually is on the rear of Matt Howes as well, so Matt Howes has potentially made a move during the recent few laps. Darkness is in front with his 15-second penalty, as Mark Maz goes very late on the brakes there, but keeps it tidy as Matt Howes sort of looks to the inside but makes no change. Ackerman is all the way on the back of that Nissan, and so is Redfern, to be fair, as he goes inside on the final corner of the lap. And it looks like Wolf is going to keep that position, so he's made the overtake, keeps it. Pryor's on the outside now, looking at going on the inside for the first corner on Redfern. Might even make a dive on Wolf, which he does do. It's 3 wide into the first corner on lap 12 of this race. Absolutely mental scenes. Pryor is currently in provisional P6, but Wolf is going to have the speed down the straight. Redfern's dropped down into P8 now, and Krasnov has got a massive lead of 3.2 seconds to these guys. So, I don't know what to keep up with, really. Obviously, we've got the Ackerman and Blanchette battle, the John Gray and Eusebi, and then this four-way battle between these guys. So it's now Wolf leads Pryor, leads Redfern, with Krasnov about 3-4 seconds in front. So yeah, Krasnov's got a little bit off his back now, a little bit less to worry about. As Pryor goes, I don't know, no idea what happened there. Hopefully there wasn't any contact, but it looks like he just lost the steering and gave the position away, as Ackerman and Blanchette are currently side by side. Blanchette goes late on the brakes. Ooh, a little bit of contact there as well as Altosis goes through. Sorry, Ackerman goes through. Altosis is his Discord name, that's why I'm confusing it. But that's the move done by Ackerman. He saw the opportunity as Blanchette broke late. There was a little bit of contact, but nothing too significant. And now it's him leading Blanchette by about a second. So in the last couple of laps we've had so much action going on that it's hard to know what to talk about. They are all spreading out a lot more now though. Matt Howes is about 0.4 behind Darkness up at the front. It's still Brown leads Lillington. Eusebi's about 0.3 seconds behind the third place of John. There's a little bit of a look at the inside there, but nothing too fruitful. There's not enough space there to be left, and the dive isn't worth taking. There's too much risk in that, so Eusebi saw sense and sort of just stayed behind. We'll stick on board with Matt Howes in the Bentley. We'll see what he can do as he's behind Darkness at the moment. As I was saying, Matt Howes is a very good driver, especially in the Bentley. I think he drives it as a main vehicle, which not many people do, to be fair, so kudos to him and credit where given. As he's dropped back slightly now, actually. Darkness in front is about 0.4 seconds to Raptor in the Mercedes. We'll go on board the rear end of Max Raptor. As you see the Nissan and the Bentley following on behind. It's good to see a trio of different cars there, as that was very late on the brakes from Darkness, hitting him on the back, and I think gaining the position because of that. Max is not going to be happy as they have a little bit of rear end instability. They've lost the position to Mark Maz now, as Mark Maz goes through, maybe flashing the indicators out of joy, not too sure. But that's Mark Maz now up into 17th place, and Matt Howes into 15th, with Darkness potentially picking up another penalty. So it'd be interesting to see how that one develops with the stewards. There is no change between the P5 to P9 positions now. They've spread out quite a way. We've got Krasnov, who's about 2.5 seconds in front of Wolf. Redfern's about 1.5 seconds behind Wolf. and behind Redfern is Pryor about 3 seconds back. So that battle that we were on with earlier has ceased to exist, as we see an overtake on that previous straight made by Eusebi, who's now in front of John Gray. As he went slightly wide on this corner, John Gray's going to have the outside for the next corner. Probably not going to turn it into anything unless Eusebi makes a mistake. John Gray's all the way on that inside of the curb, but no major change there. I don't know if the Lexus is sort of fading away with its performance at this stage of the race. I know that it's not so good on its tyres, especially towards the middle phase of the race. As Eusebi goes very unsteady on the exit there, it's given John Gray a run up the outside. Is it going to be a move though outside of these corners? We've seen it happen, to be fair, but it is very difficult to do, especially in these older cars with a lot less downforce. But it is now Eusebi on the P3 position with John Gray behind, so interesting to see what happened there. It looks like Mercury's returned to the pit lane, so that's unfortunate to see. Hopefully they'll be back out racing soon. Halfway through the race then, as you just heard it being called out. Also we've seen a lot of change so far and a lot of battles. Hopefully it stays the same. We've currently got Blanchette back on the rear end of Ackerman. In the back there you can see Kelly going quite wide. One thing to note about this evening is we've not yet had commentator's curse. I'm not trying to jinx anything, but usually it would have happened by now. We'll go back on board with the battle for P3. Gray and Eusebi, that's sort of spread out a bit now. John's lost his P3 sitting and he's about 0.8 seconds behind Eusebi. So what Eusebi needs to do now is make the most of the fact that the Lexus is in a bad position and get as far ahead as he can. Which, to be fair, is exactly what Lilly and Brown up front have done. Between them is about 5 seconds. Respectively, I think there's about 5 seconds between Brown and Lilly, and there's 5 seconds between Lilly and Eusebi. So I don't think there'll be a change again for the top three. As I said, the Lexus does drop off towards this middle stage of the race, and depending on how much John has pushed it during the race as well, is another thing to consider. But it does come back alive, I believe, towards the end of the race, so we might see something happening there. It all depends on what Eusebi can do. If he can keep it consistent and he can keep it on track, then he will be marching ahead. He's about 0.5 seconds now, potentially John catching with the slipstream. Blanchette is still on the rear of Ackerman in front. Ackerman's done quite well this race. They started in, I believe, P11. They're now up into P9. Other people who've gained quite a lot of positions. Matt Howes currently finds himself in P14. They started in P19, so they're doing very well. Wolf also doing very well. They started in P8. Obviously we saw them battling with Pryor, Redfern and Krasnov earlier, but they're now in P6, so that's up 2 places. And same with Eusebi, they're up 2 places from their starting position at P5. So some winners and some losers, mainly winners of this race at the moment though. And obviously Lilly and Brown are just running their own races. Let's see another 5-second penalty that is being put on for darkness. That was for the contact that we saw with Raptor earlier. 5 seconds for minor contact with position gained. If you are watching, Eric, I'm putting a description for that warning that you've given, so we don't get any errors or anything. But it looks like it's been a fairly quiet race on the student side of things. There's been a lot of sort of bumps that we've seen on stream, but nothing too major, which is always good to see. The closest battles on track is what we're on board with currently. We'll go on board in the Nissan. We'll hear its engine. So Gray has now dropped officially more than 1 second behind Eusebi, so dropping fast. That Lexus needs to come back alive and soon. I'm sure that's exactly what John is thinking as he goes slightly wide there, losing even more time. The other Lexus driver, Matt Redfern, is about 2.5 seconds behind Wolf, E7. and there's about 1.6 seconds of leeway behind to Pryor, so he's not got too much of a worry at the moment. Obviously he'll be looking to make some more positions. I believe he started in about P6, so he's obviously lost one since the start. Another close battle that's currently on the grid is that of Ackerman and Blanchett. It's Ferrari versus the Nissan, but that is also spreading out as well. There's about 1 second between these guys, so unfortunately it seems like the race has become very boring and there's no sort of close battles going on. We all got it during the first half. So just a recap of what we've had so far, if anyone's new or you've just joined in. So since the start, Brown, Lily Lillington and Yuzebi sort of all made their ways into the top 3 positions respectively. Yuzebi started in P5, made his way past Krasnov and Gray into P3. Gray is definitely looking at getting back his position, but the Lexus is currently in a bad stage of the race. Wolf has done very well. They're currently in P6. They started in P8 and they had quite a large battle with Krasnov, Redfern, Pryor. So all he needs to do is maintain his current gap, which is about 2.8 to 3 seconds in front of Matt Redfern. If you don't know about this race as well, if I haven't yet told you, it is all GT3s only, which is why you see in so many Nissans and so many Lexuses. It's just a 45-minute race. There's no pit stops or anything, so the drivers don't have to worry about any of that. And it does count to the Discord series as well. So the Discord series is a 3-month-long championship. It's based off of one-off races, both sprint format and endurance format, so there's a lot of potential for drivers, especially new drivers, to come in and make a name for themselves. They can get themselves on the leaderboard. All of this is all publicly available, and they can demonstrate what they can do just by attending. I think we've had quite a lot of drivers do that. I know Will Gossell has been making a name for himself in the Discord series just by attending, and obviously during the first one as well, I was lucky enough to win the series just by racing, really. So yeah, if you fancy joining us for that, Discord link is in the chat, and just have a look at what events we're running. Looks like Blanchett is a lot closer to Ackerman now. He looks down the inside, but no major change for position at the moment. Looks like he'll have maybe a better exit as Ackerman covers the middle of the track, which is the good thing to do. I'll switch to a better camera angle on this one. It looks like Blanchett will give up the inside of this corner to the Ferraris. Goes slightly wide there. It's unfortunate to see. Oh, he's got unsettled on the gravel there. I was hoping there'd be a battle between those two, but yeah. Blanchett, he's teammates, I think, or at least very good friends with Pryor. And he's not been the luckiest in the previous couple races. I know before that he was having quite a lot of success, especially in the Discord series. The man is currently P2 in that with about 1,800 points. Having a very close battle with Yuzebi. But yeah, we saw him sort of spin out there. He's lost one more place to Kelly, and he's about 5 seconds down from Kelly. I think about 10 seconds total was lost during that lap, as he is about 10 seconds down from Ackerman now. He's giving Ackerman a bit of a break, but to be honest, I think he was probably just relaxing at the moment. Anyhow, he's got about 4 seconds to P8 anyway, so I don't think there'll be a change there. One battle that's gone unnoticed so far is that of Wolf and Krasnov. So Wolf is again showing their racecraft ability and how good they are at gaining positions by going around the outside of Krasnov on this corner here. Obviously they started in P8 and they had the big battle with the 3 drivers behind, and is now focusing on P5. So he's got his eyes set on that battle. He's about 0.2 seconds down now. Obviously we saw battle that was happening there. Krasnov using all of the track locks up the front right there, goes very unsteady on the exit, Wolf is going to have to forfeit any move potentially made there as Krasnov once again goes wide. Hopefully he doesn't get any track cuts there, but Wolf has definitely got the speed down the main straight here now. He's down side by side with Krasnov. Very close there. I think there was some minor contact, nothing too major though. And Krasnov keeps his position during the first corner, but Wolf is going to have a slipstream down the first straight. I'm glad we finally got some battling. And actually, I think the Lexus has come back alive. Eusebi, with a little bit of damage on the front, I don't know if there was a contact or anything, is being pressured by John Gray again now. So as the last 13 or so minutes of the race is coming into fold, we've got some action again, thankfully. So Wolf is about 0.2 behind Krasnov now. He's going to look to go down the outside on this corner. Very late on the brakes there. Krasnov was sort of covering all angles going into the corner. As he switches sides again now. He's going to be on the outside for this corner. Same as we saw during the previous lap. It's going to be a battle of who's got the grip where. Looks like Krasnov has taken the inside though, so no change there. See if I can so they're still battling into the final couple of corners, and I think Redfern is now looking to gain from this as well. You can see the Lexus currently on the outside of Wolf now. So we're back to our ways of a 3-4-way battle. Pryor's now looking to gain on this. It's through wide into the first corner, a little bit of contact with Krasnov on the inside. He goes into Redfern and Redfern goes into Wolf. It is now Wolf leads Krasnov, leads Redfern, who's now being overtaken by Pryor. It could be a 4-way battle again now into the first corner. As the drivers all brake into that corner. Redfern's very late on the brakes around the outside. He's potentially going to go around the outside of Krasnov as well, which he does do. Gets sent slightly wide by Krasnov, but he gains it back by a good re-entry onto the circuit. Wolf is now going to get ahead if these two continue battling. Obviously Redfern is looking to get into P6 respectively, as Pryor now goes around the outside of Krasnov. Krasnov dropping back a lot of places here. Wolf is running away with it. He's about 0.6 seconds behind Wolf, with a little bit of a bad exit there as well. Pryor's going to look towards maybe the inside for the next corner, but that is Redfern now up into P6, so he's doing incredibly well to go up from his dropped places earlier. So we've got the battle still with John Gray and Eusebi. The switch from what we were seeing earlier, I think the Lexus has definitely come back alive now, thankfully for John and Matt. Whether we're going to see another battle similar to what happened before, maybe between Krasnov and Redfern, I think Wolf for sure is running away with it now. There's about 1 second between P5 and P6. There is some lapped cars coming into the criteria now though. I think one of the lapped cars is just sort of moving over now for Wolf. Krasnov is on the inside of Redfern, and Pryor is looking to get a gap where he can. He's backed out of it for this one, potentially the smart move, as Krasnov looks to do what was done to him. Not going to be easy though, as Matt Redfern covers the exit there. Slight bit of contact, nothing too serious, but it is still Redfern leading Krasnov, leading Pryor, as Pryor is again looking for what he can get around the outside. Very late on the brakes. Hopefully he doesn't lose anything like he has. Ooh, I'll say that was commentator's curse. He's kept it going there, but I think he got on the exit of the curb there a little bit too unsteady. So Wolf is now comfortably in P5. He's got about 2.5 seconds behind with cars that are battling, and he's got about 6 seconds to him to John Gray in front. So I don't think there'll be any major change up at the front runners. John Gray is going to be on the back of Eusebi for these final 9 minutes. However, he does have a 5-second penalty, so maybe that's where he got the damage from. Maybe that's where Eusebi got the damage from. Sorry. 5 seconds is going to be detrimental. Even if John Gray can get past Yuzebi. He needs to build 5-second gap to be at least in contention for the P3 spot. And furthermore, Wolf is now gaining with these two battling. So John Gray's up the inside. He's getting the position. Yuzebi's going to try and get the switch back on him. He's going to have the speed, but I don't think it'll be enough. It's going to be a battle of which car is the fastest. And it looks like that's going to be the Lexus. So now what he needs to do, John, is he needs to pull as much time as possible, which might not be possible. 6 contacts up the inside, and that's definitely going to bring Wolf into contention there. So if there's any sort of penalty at any point for Yuzebi, if it's a 5-second or what, Wolf is going to get promoted into P3, which is mental. Obviously, we've still got the battle between Pryor, Krasnov, and Redfern. But Wolf is now only 2 seconds behind Yuzebi and John Gray. Obviously, Yuzebi went up the inside there and made a slight bit of contact. As Krasnov gets a bit unsteady there in front. And that's going to be Pryor through into 7th place. Krasnov has lost yet again another position with a little bit of grass and gravel mixed in there. So now Redfern is comfortably in P6 with about 1 second behind. And Pryor's now up into P7. Whether or not Wolf is going to catch up to Yuzebi and overtake Yuzebi, I don't think will happen. But currently, as it stands, John Gray is going to be demoted down into P5. Actually, if Matt Redfern can build up any more time, he could be in contention for another place made. That 5 seconds is going to be everything for John Gray, and there's 5 seconds as well for Krasnov. So if Kelly can catch about a second or so, that'll be a place promotion for him as well. It is all to play for in these final sort of 7 minutes or so. I mean, wow, we've had some good action tonight for sure. It's interesting seeing these older cars. It's not something that you see often, and it's good to know that that you still get some serious action out of them. Obviously, the drivers are all new to them. They've had quite a lot of practice. We were meant to run this race last week, but due to some server problems, it didn't follow through. I think this week, though, definitely having the benefit of some good, clean and fair racing. Obviously, we've got some penalties added in, but it's just a product of smaller contacts. So it's about 0.5 seconds between all these drivers respectively, apart from Redfern, who's about 3.5 to 4 seconds behind Wolf. But Wolf is actually now within 1 second of Yuzebi, so we know Yuzebi's got a bit of damage on that Nissan in front, and we know that John Gray's got 5-second penalty, so 6/10 is all Wolf needs to get himself into P3, and obviously he will be very pleased with that P3 position. To move up from P8 into P3 in 45 minutes in an old Nissan is no mean feat, sure. And it wasn't easy as well. There was a lot of battling going on throughout the grid. As they all go through the second corner scene. Looks like Krasnov has dropped even further down behind. Maybe he's had a little bit of a spin or a bit of contact in there somewhere. But he is now down in P10. Ackerman's been promoted into P9, and Kelly's found his way into P8, about 6 seconds down from Krasnov, so down from Pryor, sorry. Blanchette, who we saw having the spin earlier, I don't think they're going to gain any positions from this. They're about 7 to 8 seconds behind Krasnov. Nothing too major. Wolf is right on the rear of Yuzebi now. Whether or not there's going to be a battle in these final 5 minutes is an entirely different factor, but it's certainly going to be close finish nonetheless. We know Wolf is a good driver, so we've seen this race having a lot of battles, but that also might have worn down the tyres on the Nissan. Yuzebi has obviously got that damage, as I mentioned a couple laps prior, and John Gray is sort of solidified in his position on track. But with that 5-second penalty, it is going to be detrimental. I don't think he'll drop any lower than P5 as it currently stands though. Matt Redfern is currently about 4 seconds behind Wolf, so that there's going to be no major change there. We see another 5-second penalty. It's been applied on the side. That's from Mark Maz. I don't know if that might be in a faster car. I think it was there, yeah. Racing against a faster car. but I don't think that'll affect Mark too much. He's got a good gap around him. And that's about it. Wolf is now entirely on the back of Eusebi. It could be an easy manoeuvre here as we go into the second sector. Hopefully keep it clean. He gets a bit bouncy on that curb there, perhaps backs out of it, realising he can do it better on a different corner. To be fair, if these two continue battling the way they are and they continue losing time, it might give John the opportunity that he needs to keep his position. As they come into the second to last corner now, it's Wolf on the outside, Eusebi on the inside. Run slightly wide. What they need to do now in these final 3 minutes is to not get a drive-through penalty, because that will change standings for sure. Obviously, if you get a drive-through penalty, a lot of time lost, and all it takes is just to go wide on one corner. It's now Wolf up the inside, and that's the move done before the entry of the corner. Eusebi gets a little bit of a slide going on through the middle of the corner, and that's not giving him the exit that he tried to get there. So as it stands, Wolf is now in P3 as he goes past a lapped car. I think that might be... Ooh, that's a very late lunge by Eusebi there. And that's him back into provisional P3. Wolf is on the outside. It's going to be a drag race down to the third corner. Wolf is going to be on the outside for this one. Eusebi brakes later again, locks up the front right a little bit, goes very wide. Wolf is going to be through. That's not what Eusebi needed to do. Wolf, I think, probably saw that coming, knew that it was going to be a late break by Eusebi, and made the most of the opportunity really. He's got a little bit of damage on the side. I assume that's from the close battling that we've seen from him, but I don't think it's as much time loss wise as Eusebi behind. But certainly an incredible performance from J Wolf today. I don't think we've seen better in a long while, so pat yourself on the back, mate, if you're watching this back. I'm honestly very pleased with what I've seen from you. About 4 seconds back from John Gray, 3 seconds back from John Gray, so John needs to push as hard as he can now if he wants to keep his P3 position. Eusebi actually, on an even more major note, has got a 5-second penalty as well. So now I think no matter what, Wolf has got a P3 position, and Redfern has also been promoted into P4. I mean, it's all to play for now. You can see these penalties coming in are affecting quite a lot. Just goes to show if you're clean while you're racing, you're going to do well. I think Wolf has demonstrated that pretty perfectly during this race. So the massive gap now between Wolf and Eusebi. I think there's a massive pace difference between these two. Wolf is now 3 seconds ahead of Eusebi, and there's only 30 seconds left of the race. I think it will be one more lap. Our leader Ben Brown is coming around the final corner now, so it will be one more lap as he's going to cross the finish line with about 10 seconds to go.
Leaders on final lap now.
Any of the call out there, but he's had a very good race. To be honest, he's kept it clean, which is exactly what he needed to do. He came in, qualified first, got off, led the entire race, and has not put a foot wrong the entire time. So again, another driver that needs to pat themselves on the back. Same with Lily. Done very well to keep that P2 position the entire race. Obviously, they had a bit of a battle with John about halfway through, but still, they've done well to keep their P2 position from the start. Pryor has actually now dropped a position. Have they run out of fuel? I think Pryor's run out of fuel. That's what it sounds like. So on the second to last lap, Pryor is pulling over to the side of the circuit, and that could be a DNF. Oh no. That's really unfortunate to see. I was not expecting that. Eusebi's dropped a position now down. John Gray's dropping like a fly as well. I've lost what's going on with everything. It's all over the place. I don't know if there was contact or what, but Pryor's now in the pit lane. Obviously they've had no fuel. J Wolf is now just in P3. Eusebi's in P4 with a 5-second penalty, and John Gray is in P5 with a 5-second penalty as well. So as Ben Brown crosses the line and takes P1, very well done to you, and Lily comes around the final corner and takes P2, it's going to be Jay Wolf on the podium, and John Gray dropping down to, I think, P6 as his teammate Matt Redfern was looking up the inside again on the final corner there. John Gray's got a lot of damage on the front of that Lexus, I think, unless it's just the angle. But it's side by side for the two big brain drivers across the finish line, and it's P5 and P6 respectively. So what an end to that race there. I don't think anyone was expecting what happened. Absolutely incredible scenes. Obviously, very well done to you, Ben Brown. That was an incredible race. Same with Lily. Kept to the P2 the entire time. More to the point, Jay Wolf, absolutely phenomenal. Top job performance from P8 to P3 there. Some very clean, some very good battles. It's exactly what we like to see here at ACM. Usually similar sort of things, some very good battles with John Gray. Matt Redfern, you've done very well yourself to get up into the position that you did. You've had a lot of battling in there as well, in that Lexus. Not the easiest, but you made it work. John Gray, fortunate to see you lose so many positions at the end there. You definitely had a P3 in there. Might see a protest about the time-second penalty. I guess we'll see after the race. Kelly, P7, very well done. And Ackerman in P8, Blanchett in P9, and Gemiel in P11. So that rounds out the top sort of 10 or so. A very good race from all drivers there. I'll see if I can pull any of them in for a post-race interview. I think we've got Mark in the call with us now. We'll see if we can get the race winner and the P3 finisher, Jay Wolf, in for a chat. See if we can get Mark on. Mark, how was that race?
Well, it was fun.
Yeah, for sure. Something a little different with these older cars, isn't it?
Yeah, especially the tires.
Yeah, no. Were the tyres a problem?
Yeah, at the end, the rear was sliding a bit too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we saw a lot of that in the other cars. I know the Nissans were especially struggling with that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, good race from you. You're up in P15, so that's a good end result.
Yeah, I mean, starting from the back, it's always it's pretty hard to lose positions. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, no, all good. I saw you got a 5-second penalty in there as well. Have you got any comment to make on that? Or?
I'm really sorry to Altosis because I don't know if I got distracted or I misjudged the braking point, but on getting lapped by him, I misjudged the braking point on turn 1 and tapped him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No.
And I'm pretty sure that's the cause that's why he lost the position to Kelly.
Yeah.
So yeah, extremely sorry.
Yeah. No. Well, it's good that you're apologising. Good that you're recognising mistakes. But yeah, no, good race. I'm gonna have to end it here though. I've got some more drivers to interview. But yeah, thank you for coming and doing a post-race interview. Thank you for racing as well. We'll see you next time.
No issues.
Green light, go, go, go.
Hello, mate. How was that?
Hey guys.
That was a very good race from you. Up from
That
P8
was,
into P3.
Nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. It was really good racing from the guys also, like so clean.
Yeah, no, there was some
amazing.
mental battles that we saw in there. You especially, I think you were battling it with at least 4 or 5 cars at one point, and I didn't know what to keep my eye on.
Yeah, who was it? The Lexus Redfern, I think.
Redfern, yep.
And the Nissan in front of me.
Yep.
I don't remember the name, but it was so crazy. It was
Yeah.
so Krasnov, I think.
Yep.
He defended like a lion, Alonso would say, I think.
Yeah, we're on board with you two, and I saw him switching all over the place. But yeah, no, it was all clean, all fair racing.
Yeah.
Absolutely mental. So yeah, very well done to you.
Yeah, I will look forward watching the replay.
Oh yeah, definitely watch the stream back as well. It's definitely one to watch back. But yeah, I think towards the end there as well, were you sort of hoping that the 5-second penalty would from John Gray and Eusebi sort of bring you into P3, and then you ended up getting it anyhow. I sort of missed out what happened there. Do you have any comment on that?
Who was the Lexus and P3? I think
Yeah, John
he
Gray.
spun out. I don't know what happened if.
Oh, yeah, no, because I missed it. I
But
switched
yeah,
back
so
onto it.
okay, well then I get P3 without penalties.
Yeah.
Feels even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It was a cool race.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't think I've ever seen um, such amazing battles, and I mean, especially in these older cars as well. It's not really something you
Yeah,
expect, but they've definitely delivered, so it's good to see.
yeah. But my problem is I'm not really good in quali, so
Yeah,
I start a bit more in the back where my actual race pace is.
yeah,
At least most of the time, and then at least they usually have good battles in the race, so that's the fun part about that.
yeah. I mean, we saw on Sunday when you were raced with us on Kailami, you had some good battles there as well. So
Yeah, it was also cool. Like
yeah,
the guys here in your community, they're really good racers, really
yeah.
clean.
No, I'm proud to say that we have that, and thank you for saying that as well. It means a lot. But yeah, no, very good racing from you. Very well done for your podium
Thank you.
position. Um, Yeah, cool. All right, I'll end the stream here. I don't think anyone else wants an interview. So yeah, thank you for coming along, all.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
we'll see you tomorrow for the mini endurance. So yeah, cool.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.